You guys ever do that thing where right as you're starting your show, you realize you didn't fill up a water bottle, and now you're going to talk for 43 straight minutes and not have anything to drink? I had this stuff, orange and cream. I don't know where it came from, like Aldi or something. My son smuggled it to me. Apparently, my wife has been buying this stuff for him, and he's been hiding it in his room so that his brothers don't get it. And then I busted him with a bottle of it, and then he's like, yeah, Mom's been buying it for me. So then she got me a couple. This was good. That's why I played Cream by Prince, this orange and cream. But there's all I got left is that. And I forgot to... oh, well. What's up? So sorry about the last 2 days being like short and weird and pre-recorded and all that stuff, but I had stuff. Yesterday, I went to Toronto. My whole family, because kids are off from school, and it's middle of the week. We had all kinds of baseball stuff Monday and Tuesday. I talked about that because I was in and out dealing with that, and that's why the show wasn't live Tuesday, because the whole thing, all the baseball was right during when the show is, and I wasn't going to drop my kids off and then hurry up and come back here and do a show and miss the baseball and then drive back there to pick them up immediately because they had to be there from 10 to noon. So, that's the deal. And then yesterday, all of this whole week has been about baseball. Ohtani was pitching. The Dodgers are in town. It's a rematch of the World Series. Everybody in my house loves the Dodgers. I'm okay with the Dodgers. I don't love the Dodgers. I don't root for them. I don't root against them. They're fun. I mean, they're super enjoyable to watch. Stud-laden lineup, top to bottom. When we found out there was a 3 p.m. Dodgers-Jays game the week that the kids were off from school, we had to go. And we were not alone, man. Obviously, it's a major city, and it's a World Series rematch, and it's a day game. And, it was work from dome day. Work from dome. I didn't see anybody working from dome, aside from the people who work at the dome. They were working from dome. Shohei Ohtani was working from dome. But I didn't see like laptops, like people setting up using Wi-Fi to file reports or what. I don't know. It wasn't really. It was just a baseball game. But in telling people I was going to be going there. Granted, I hang out with a lot of baseball types. I mean, my God, every day I start a story. It's like, yeah, this is what happened at baseball yesterday, and it's April in Buffalo. We're getting there. Outdoor practice will happen soon, but we do a lot in gymnasiums and baseball facilities and things. I don't do anything. I just take the kids there and they do it. But in having conversations about, we bought tickets late last week. And Saturday, I don't know. I was out. We had some sort of baseball event, some practice or something. And I was talking about, we've got tickets for Wednesday. And we had then learned that Ohtani was pitching. Because they're not putting him on the regular 5-day rotation or 5-game rotation, 5-man, however you want to put it. It's not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can count and figure out where he's going to pitch. They're spreading him out a little bit to preserve him. I mean, this guy, it's unbelievable. You go to the game, and he's in the lineup twice. I took a picture of it because it looks so ridiculous. But they announce, top to bottom, and the DH is everywhere now. And so he's the DH, hitting leadoff, and then at the bottom he's listed as the starting pitcher as well. He was both yesterday. He went 6 innings, complete waste of his skills, because the second they pull him after 6, and they're trying to preserve him. He's approaching 100 pitches. He got to like 96 or 97, and my son even said, "This is probably his last inning, huh?" I said, "Yeah, it's looking that way." And they got activity in the bullpen, and they bring in this guy, Breyer. He just gets lit up immediately, blows the lead. Ohtani went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run. It wasn't earned. Only struck out a couple, but he was very efficient, very good. And then they just let it go away. It's like, why'd you do that for 6 innings? And they've got guys in that bullpen too. I'm a fan of Blake Trinan, and I'm thinking, all right, well, the move here is Trinan. Get him through. And it ended up being the move, but this other guy they put in lasted a third of an inning. Then they replaced him with Trinan. Then Trinan shut it down. And then it ends up being, they called it a throwing error, but it wasn't, I don't know, maybe it's because I watched so much Little League. It didn't look like an error to me. It was an attempted steal. And Will Smith throws down to second, and the ball just kind of arrived at the same time as the player, and it kind of got kicked away. And on that, the runner at third very alertly takes off and scores what ends up being the winning run. It was fun. It was a good time. What a crowd, though. I mean, a lot of people down there. Or down there. Up there? It's up there. We're in Buffalo. That's Toronto. I had not been. I don't remember the last time I was in Canada prior to this. The last time I remember for sure going to Canada was 2016 when I went to London for one of the final hip shows. And then it just became a little bit more of a pain. You know, crossing the border became a little bit more of a pain with enhanced license and passports. And then I've got kids, and now we need birth certificates. And it just, I don't know. And then COVID, and nobody was allowed to cross the border for a while. And we just haven't done it. And finally, and plus, as cool as it is to live as close as we are to a major metropolitan city, an international type of, you know, just a big deal in Toronto, I just hate driving there. Hate it. I'm fine until about, well, basically when you turn around the lake. QEW heading up there is okay, although I'm not comfortable on bridges. The older I get, the less I like bridges. It's weird. But everything's all right till about Burlington. And I've been hearing for a couple of years now about the way to go to Toronto is go to Burlington, you park your car, you get on a train, and it takes you right to walking distance from the Dome. And we finally did that yesterday. Two things. One, that was awesome. That's absolutely the way to go. Two, I don't know that we would have made the trip if I had Googled Go Train at any point in the last couple of weeks. So I had to look it up to find out exactly how to do it and how do you pay and all that stuff. But I went just to their official website, and I was able to skip all of the news. I became aware of the Go Train news when we were on our way back from Toronto to Burlington. And they were saying how the train wouldn't be going to whatever was next. The next stop after that. Because of they're still working on the track after last week's derailment. Like, what? Nothing feels safer than a low-speed train, right? And it doesn't seem that there was like a massive disaster. But just looking, like, okay, I Google Go Train Ontario. Listen to these headlines. Go trains to St. Catharines, Ontario, Niagara Falls restarting Thursday after last week's train derailment. This is a story from yesterday. Like, the train was not running all the way to Niagara Falls yesterday, but today they're just going to try it again. There's no way my wife would have gotten on that train if she had read about this derailment. Go Train service still out as St. Catharines derailment repair work continues. Metrolinx in Ontario extend Alstom's Go Train contract for $1.3 billion. Go Train maintenance contractor gets $1.3 billion extension anyway. Ontario investing $1.3. No car, no problem. 5 Ontario locations to visit that are accessible by transit. Shorter, more frequent Go Train plan unlikely to materialize. Leaked document. Welland Canal Go Transit service still disrupted days after train derailment in St. Catharines, Ontario. There's lots on derailment. Lots on danger. There was another one. It was how at some point in March, I think it was, the exact train we took, like Burlington to, it's like Lakeshore East, I think they call it. Burlington to Toronto was shut down for days because of, I forget what it was, like incredibly necessary track repair or something. So I'm just learning of this thing. I'm just discovering that this is the way to go to Toronto. And then as we're coming home, I realized maybe this isn't great. But I'll tell you what was great. Not having to drive in the city, not having to drive like the Gardner, like the whole, really, once you turn around the lake, it's a nightmare for me. And I've gotten worse, not worse at driving, but more nervous at driving. Like there's a big difference between driving in Buffalo in my truck by myself and driving in a different country with my wife and 3 kids in a van. Like there's just, I don't know, there's a nervousness. I've talked about this before. I don't know where it came from. Maybe just from having kids. You know, I never bang into anything. We're always fine. But there's something about it. I kind of white knuckle it. I'll get trapped in like a middle lane and there's people on the left and people on the right. And I'm not going slow. I'm keeping up, but it's just, I don't know. I feel like I get trapped and I'm uncomfortable with it. So taking the terrible part of the drive away really made it. And aside from everything that I've read since yesterday about derailment, I highly recommend that's the way to go to get to Toronto. I've been told that by people I trust. John Fuller went there. Maybe Fuller and Peck both went up there for Springsteen at some point in the last couple of years and took the train. And like, that is the way to go. Parking was tough, though. Like, we got there and we got to Burlington, the train station, and trying to get a spot didn't work. We ended up going next door and parking at Walmart. And then the whole time we're in Toronto, my wife thinks we're going to get towed from Walmart. We weren't going to get towed from Walmart. What do they care? And there were signs, authorized parking only. But what was I supposed to do? I had bought tickets for a train. I had bought tickets for a baseball game. This is where I'm taking the train. I can't park. What am I supposed to do? Not park? I had to park. So I parked. And we went. Pretty uneventful game. Honestly, I don't know what percentage of Major League Baseball games do not have a home run hit in them, but we did not have a home run hit in ours. That said, I'm a purist. I don't want baseball to just be about big swings. I want small ball. I like that the winning run was scored on an attempted, man on first, man on third, steal of second, ball gets away a little bit, runner on third gets home. I like that. But my wife's all into the Dodgers, got a Dodgers hat and everything. Drew, the little fashion plate, little, I don't know what you'd call him, punk. He's not a punk. He's a good kid, but I always say that if your kid's team was playing against this team, you're always going to look and be like, ooh, I don't like that kid. Just from warm-ups, you can just tell. That's my kid. So that's him. But yesterday, I didn't take any pictures of the kids. I should have. Drew looked so cool. He had on a Benny the Jet Rodriguez Sandlot jersey over a blue hoodie with a Dodgers hat on, a gray Dodgers hat that he got the other day at his baseball camp. At the end of the camp, like, everybody take a hat. And he took a Dodgers hat, but it was like a gray Dodgers hat. He had that on backwards, and he's got his necklaces on. He just looked like the coolest little dude. And I wish I got pictures of that. I mean, he dresses like that all the time, but it was just an overall good look for a kid hopping on a train and heading into Toronto for, I think, his second ever Major League game. Nate said it was his fourth. I think it's Zach's second, Drew's second. Carol went to some as a kid. We also, I think, we went to Red Sox and Jays. I know this because she bought a big Poppy shirt. She doesn't care. She just goes to root against Toronto, it seems, now that I think about it. Oh, look, the Blue Jays are playing. Let's go root against them with whatever team is in town. And the genesis of this trip is that I told her we discovered, dropping John Fuller's name again, but John works at UB and goes on all the football trips. And he is very good at checking the schedule when we're on the road to find out if we can go to a Major League Baseball game. And we can. This year, week 2 for UB is at Florida International, which is in Miami. And the Marlins are in town, and they are hosting the Dodgers. So it's like, we get to go to a Dodgers game. So I told Carol excitedly, I'm going to see the Dodgers in September. And 15 minutes later, she's like, what do you think about going to a game next Wednesday? I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. I'll see the Dodgers twice this year. So that was cool. But that's the explanation for, like, pre-recorded shows and the show ran from 10 to 10:45 or something yesterday. And then I hit stop, and then I got in a car, and then we drove to Burlington, and then we rode a train. But also, here's another little pro tip. Getting out of the game it was as bad as leaving the 300 level of a sold-out Sabres game. You know how awful that is? Like the bottleneck at the top of the escalator because they've never made that arena work properly because there's a spot where the other escalator should go that they never put in. I don't know how this isn't just common knowledge, but if you look, You're in the arena. You're on the 100. You come in on the ground floor, the atrium. You go up the short little escalator, and now if you're going all the way up, you can either on the right or left. There's an escalator that goes from the 100 level to the 300, bypassing 200. It takes you up there. But each of those escalators, there's a space right next to the escalator for another escalator. And I don't know that I've ever had a conversation with anybody from that helped build it. But that had to be the plan. There had to be a plan to have escalators next to each other in both of those spots. But both spots, there's one escalator, and it's getting in is okay because it's kind of staggered over the course of an hour or so. Getting out, everybody's trying to leave at the same time, and it sucks. And leaving, we were up basically on the roof of Rogers Center, formerly known as Sky Dome. Getting out of there felt a lot like that. And then the whole trek back to Union Station, which is where the trains are, was like that. It's like kind of felt like cattle, and you're just jammed in, and it was uncomfortable. I didn't like it at all, the leaving part. But we made the decision, instead of hustling to get back to the train, they have like a food court at Union Station. Let's go eat and sit around for 45 minutes and let this thing clear out. And it worked perfectly. Like, it was crowded where we were eating, and that was a little annoying. But once we got through that, the crowd had thinned. We took our time getting back to the train. They run every half hour, so even if you miss one, you're still only going to, you miss one by 5 minutes. You're standing around for 18 before you can board, which is essentially what we did. But it was comfortable, casual, not packed. The train up there started off okay and then started getting a little bit more crowded as we got closer to Toronto. That was to be expected. Not terrible. But to not have to deal with a massive crowd was cool. And then we just casually took our time. Like, we stopped at 8, and then we got to the train, and then we took the train that took like an hour. And then once we were there, like, well, we got to drive for an hour. Who wants coffee? Everybody wants coffee. So we found a Tim Hortons, of course, pretty easy to do, in Burlington. And we did that. Everybody got coffee. And then we took the ride home, and the border, as we're approaching customs, I was like, really? One booth is open? One? But it was great. I think there were 4 cars in front of us, and all of them went quickly. We got through the border ASAP. I did not attempt to buy a hot dog in the stadium. I bought the outdoor hot dogs. I had $50 in Canadian money that I wasn't even sure where it came from, but my son Zach reminded me where it came from, and that was he went to see Green Day in Toronto with his friend. His friend's family went up, and they took him too. And they were just going up for the day, and I went and got $50 Canadian for him to use while he was on the trip. Turns out the dome is cashless anyway, so it wouldn't have worked. But I went up there with the specific plan of outdoor hot dogs with this cash. And everyone had one except my wife, and they were $8 a piece. So I spent $32 on Canadian hot dogs that are halfway between hot dog and like kielbasa. And then they've got condiments, which ketchup normal, mustard normal, relish, neon green, Canadian relish. It was a very, very different color relish in Canada for whatever reason. And then they have like sweet peppers or hot peppers or something. Then they had sauerkraut cold. I used that anyway. Not the best move. But yeah, $8 a piece for the outdoor hot dogs. I don't think we bought anything inside. As timid as I am driving now, especially in a foreign country, especially when I don't know where I'm going, I'm almost as bad on stairs, like tight, stiff. Once I was in my seat, I was good. I was just going to stay there. I walked up there once. I walked down there once. Didn't purchase anything in there. No, that was it. I spent, I don't know, $70 at Taco Bell on the way out, but that was at Union Station, not at the arena, or not at the Dome, Rogers Center. We just call it Dome. It was so much easier when that was the Dome and the other thing was the Air Canada Center. Made more sense to me. But anyway, that's where I was. That's why the show was short yesterday. There you go. What else have I learned? Oh, so the Sabres won. I didn't see the game at all because I was on a train and at a baseball game and stuff. But first I looked, they were up 2-0. Next I looked, they were up 4-3. And then we were in the car to listen to the empty netter that sealed it. Sabres win 5-3. They've got 104 points. They lead the division. I don't know what happens with what the second tiebreaker is. I should probably look that up. It might even be at the bottom of this page right here. It's not. I've had my eye on regulation wins, where the Sabres look to be in really good shape. But now Tampa has pulled to within 1 there, and then they've got 1 extra regulation and overtime win. So if the Sabres win their games, they'll win the division. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Well, if they win 3 more, yeah, there's a chance that regulation wins ends up, which is the first tiebreaker, ends up being tied between Buffalo and Tampa, and that's not even counting. Montreal is right there as well. But Montreal's only got 32 regulation wins, and the Sabres have 40. They're in good shape. 2 points back, the Sabres are. 2 points back of Carolina for the top spot in the conference. That's far less important to me than winning the division. Honestly, being top 2 in the division, just staying out of that start on the road position, which would be 3rd. But everything is still, there's danger there. Tampa has lost 2 in a row, which helps. But Montreal keeps winning. They had 8 in a row, then they lost 1, then they won 1. So they're at 102. And both the Lightning and Canadiens have 4 games remaining, while the Sabres have only 3 games remaining. So it's going to be tight. Still, pretty much anything can happen. We've got more teams eliminated now. Devils, Panthers, Leafs, Rangers are all out. And the wild card spots right now belong to Boston, who looks pretty firmly in. They're at 96 points with 3 games left. Ottawa's at 92 with 4 games left, and they're 2 points ahead of Columbus. 3 points ahead of both the Red Wings and the Islanders. Oh, and the Capitals. So all those teams, there are 6 teams still fighting for those 2 wildcard spots, but it looks like Boston will take 1. And then it's 5 teams fighting for 1, with Ottawa currently in the lead. And as of right now, with the Sabres holding the top spot in the division, they would face one of those 2 teams. At this moment, it would be Boston, but it could turn out to be Ottawa, depending on how the Sabres do relative to Carolina. It's crazy how little is settled as of right now. I mean, 4 teams have clinched playoff spots, but Pittsburgh's at 96, and they're in the 2nd spot. The Bruins are also at 96, and they're in the 7th spot. Pittsburgh's 2nd spot in the division. It's confusing, especially because they've changed it 3 times while the Sabres have been out of the playoffs. So we're back. We're at a spot that I understand it now, but nothing is decided, man. Still just hanging out, waiting to see where everybody winds up. All right, so that's that. What else is happening? What else did I write down? Go Train, Ohtani. Oh, God. So I get home, and I had NHL Network on something. When I turned on TV last night, it was just in time to see Connor McDavid score a goal. And this ends up slightly less impressive because the scoring ended on this play. But there were 5.5, maybe 6 minutes left in the 2nd period. And McDavid scored. It was his 3rd goal of the night to go with his 2 assists. And Edmonton was in the lead, 5-2 or something. But they had 5 goals. He was in on all of them. He had scored 3 of them, and there were 6 minutes left in the 2nd period. They did not score again, so it just ended there. But good God, man. I don't see a lot of him. I don't see a lot of West Coast hockey. But, man, 5 points with 6 minutes. It seemed like he was going to score 9 points. He didn't. But that's where we were. All right, what else do we have here? Oklahoma City locked up the number 1 seed in the West in the NBA. That's something. I like this. Kirk Cousins says, I shouldn't play if not Raiders' best QB. So the assumption is that the Raiders are going to draft Mendoza, who is weird. And then they bring in Kirk Cousins to kind of mentor him. And he's kind of weird. It's like nerd quarterbacks together, which is fine. Nerds are cool. But they're both like sort of non-traditional, not like kind of non-badass nerd. They're nerd quarterbacks. And the fit might be perfect, aside from the Vegas part, which makes it interesting. Kirk Cousins is well aware of the situation he's walking into with the Raiders. Unlike in Atlanta, when he felt misled by the Falcons after they drafted Michael Penix, he joined the Raiders knowing they're expected to draft Fernando Mendoza, first overall, and being a starter isn't guaranteed. Cousins fully embraces this reality and explained to head coach Clint Kubiak, the best player needs to play. If that's not me, I don't want to be out there. I don't think that's the best thing for the team. If I'm the best option, then I believe it's important that those guys are out there. But I'm excited to get the chance to lead, help influence in the locker room, do my part, and most importantly, help our team win. Cousins is 37, was present during the first day of Raiders offseason workouts Tuesday, which also happened to be the day Mendoza was in the building for his first and only top 30 visit. Cousins had a chance to meet Mendoza and said it would be a privilege to play with him. Added that he has watched Mendoza from a distance and believes the Heisman Trophy winner has a natural feel for the position. So at his stage, he's much ahead of me. Even though Mendoza ended his career on a high note, throwing 41 touchdowns, leading the Hoosiers to the national championship, Kubiak believes a young quarterback should learn behind a veteran instead of being named a starter right away. I agree with that. I think that's the right way to do it. We've gotten away from it, but if you have the opportunity, you do that. So I get this. I think this is an intelligent pairing. I don't know that every quarterback is the right fit for Mendoza. Mendoza's weird, man. Like, I think collectively as a nation, we sort of grew our knowledge of him and sort of grew an appreciation of him over the course of the year as Cignetti was working some sort of magic in Indiana that none of us understood. By the time we got through the college football playoff, I think most of us were exposed enough to his post-game lunacy. Mendoza, weird enough that you kind of wonder, can you build around that? Like, obviously looks the part physically, talented. He's doing all the right things on the field. But then it's just like, man, this guy's kind of squirrely. And Cousins has always felt that way too. So this does make sense to me. I get it. Cousins is thrilled about the opportunity to reunite with Kubiak. Played with him with the Vikings for 3 seasons. Said playing in Kubiak's system made a ton of sense for him. I think highly of his system, his staff, and the way they marry the run and pass. Cousins assumed rejoining Kubiak would be a smooth transition, but after going through installs, he realized he has plenty of catching up to do. So I'm asking, what does this word mean? What does that word mean? I need to learn this like I'm a rookie because it's all new to me. So that's what good coaches do. They evolve. That's the way Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell were. It always changed and evolved, and it's the same thing that's happened here. So he's got some learning, but it makes sense. All that fits together. Elsewhere, did I really just close the thing that I wanted? Yeah, I did. It's all right. I like the offerings on the homepage of ESPN.com today. Player, heart goes out for Tiger, but stop driving. Yep. Bryson brings 3D printed 5-iron to Masters. All right, let's see how this goes. I don't know what makes a golf club legal or illegal, but it seems like you probably have some explaining to do when you're making your own clubs with a computer. AI. Bryson DeChambeau using iron made with 3D printer at Masters. He's used myriad strategies while trying to win a green jacket, but none are as outside the box as the formula cooked up by the mad scientist this year. He told ESPN on Wednesday he'll play with a 5-iron that he fabricated himself with a 3D printer. As a younger player, DeChambeau tried to attack the course, famously saying he would play Augusta National as a par 67 course because he was hitting the ball so far off the tee. When that plan didn't work, he went more conservative over the past 2 years, leading to consecutive top 10 finishes in the first major of the year. Now the 2-time U.S. Open champion is using perhaps his boldest tactic yet. He'll try to win the Masters with at least one golf club he built himself. He said that's the plan as of now after finishing a 9-hole practice round at Augusta National. Masters underway, by the way, this morning. He got his nickname because of his analytical, physics-based approach to golf and said he's been working on building his own clubs for years. When asked why use at least one or maybe more in the Masters, he said because they're finally ready. The USGA would have to approve his clubs before they're used in competition, right? But I don't know what they're looking for. I don't know what makes a club legal or illegal. I don't know the sport well enough. But I know that, they're pretty strict about rules. I think about how in Little League games, like if a kid walks up with an illegal bat, somebody in the infield recognizes it before he even swings it. I have to hear it. If I hear a bat and it sounds off, I'm like, wait a minute, is that legal? And they all have to be stamped USA Baseball. And then the thought has always been, what we should buy is a USA Baseball stamp. And you just put that, and they'll all be stamped USA Baseball. It's perfect. But that, I feel like making your own bat wouldn't fly in Little League. So I don't know how making your own club, how easily that's going to fly. I'm sure he's done his research. If you're 3D printing your own 5-iron and you think that's going to be better than a 5-iron manufactured by a company that's been doing it for years and has all the technology and all the R&D and everything that makes it work, I don't know how you would think you're going to do better, but okay. So there's this nature that I have about myself where innovation is a habit of mine. And I really find and take pride in that ability to learn, even through failure, even through making a bad decision or a good decision, what I can get from that. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it takes me. All I can say now is if I don't put them in the bag, it's my fault now. All right, Bryson. That's fun. So we'll see. I'm sure there will be an update on that. I don't know who has teed off so far, but I can find out. Masters. It was right there. It was right there. Watch live. DeChambeau and McIlroy featured group at the Masters. I'm going to try to watch live. It's probably not going to let me. Because why would it? Why would it let me do the thing I want to do? Spinning. Well, there we go. I'm watching with no sound. So I don't even know who just hit the ball, but it went over the glass and into the crowd. Souvenir for a young man from Macon, Georgia. You guys remember when Ted Darling was the play-by-play man for the Sabres? You'd have to be old. If you're not old, you won't remember this. When he was the play-by-play guy for the Sabres, he used to do a thing where he would, the puck would go over the glass and into the crowd. And that's what he would say, over the glass and into the crowd. And there's a souvenir to a young man from Kenmore, New York. Or there's a souvenir to a young man from Lockport, or whatever it was. And I remember as a kid, the first thing I thought was, this guy's amazing. He knows everybody. And then eventually, I was like, oh, I get it. He's got a seating chart. So I thought he was telling the truth, man. I thought he was right. Somebody caught a puck. He knew where they were from. Kids are stupid. Aren't we? Weren't we? Aren't they? What do we got here? Brad, I missed the first half hour, so may have missed it. Next week, GR or Writer Radio. I will be here. But that does not speak to the following week. Still a lot of moving parts going on with the whole GR situation. But I will say, like, I had to do onboarding stuff. Like, I'm officially an employee there. I haven't made a big deal about announcing it or anything, but I work there again. I just don't know exactly what my role will be. How often I'll be there? Am I I don't know. But they're still working on things. So there's a bunch of stuff happening. Everybody who asks me about this, I'm just like, it's all positive. I don't have anything to report. except that things have been moving forward. So no negative, nothing. I mean, I got a thing. Congratulations on being hired. And like I had to take a picture of my passport and send it in, and Social Security, all that stuff, all the onboarding. I had to read a thing about, make sure I don't sexually harass the bulldog, that kind of stuff. All that. So that's it. That's what's going on. I've been in touch with people over there. Figure it out. Plenty of time. I will. I mean, you're going to hear me on that station again soon. But will it be like a regular, this is the show, this is with the co-host, this is no co-host, this is at this time of day, this is every other week, this is every day? I don't know. But next week, no. Next week, I'm here. And then everything in life is up in the air, right? Like I'm not breaking any news here to say I'm not positive what's going to happen. Because you're not positive what's going to happen in your life 2 weeks from now either. I just know that I'm not doing a show, well, at least as of right now, I'm not doing a GR show next week. But that's the extent of my knowledge. So, does that answer the question? Yeah. Baseball weather today, I haven't even looked outside. Like outdoor baseball weather, because that's what I'm looking for, man. I'm looking for outdoor baseball weather. I'm looking for it to be time to get outside. The roof was closed yesterday at Rogers Center for the Jays and Dodgers game. And while we were on the train heading up there, just looking at how bright and sunny it was, I was thinking, oh, the roof is going to be open. This is a really nice day. And then the little bit of time that we were walking outside to get in, I was like, no, please don't open the roof. I don't need my wife and 3 kids all complaining the entire time about being cold. That building is far more interesting and pleasant to be in, I think, when the roof is open and you're looking right up at the CN Tower. Like, it's cool. When it's closed, it's a little antiseptic, although I will say I think it's cool that they can control the entire environment. So when the closer's coming in, it gets dark in there and everybody's holding up flashlights. And like, there's stuff you can do when you're indoors that you couldn't do as far as game presentation. And they do a pretty nice job. They have a lot of good stuff going on. And then one, I thought, terrible thing, which is there's this woman who pretends to be a DJ, but she's not doing anything with her DJ equipment. Like, it might just be fake equipment. Whatever's happening with the music in the building has absolutely nothing to do with this woman who is basically just bouncing up and down. She's bouncing up and down, and every now and then is like touching the little turntable, but it's not really even a turntable. It's just like the modern mixing thing. But she's not, you could tell what she was doing did not in any way correspond to the sound that was happening in the building. So why they employ a person to jump up and down and pretend to be a DJ is beyond me. I thought that lacked something, game presentation-wise. Just made it confusing. One thing, and I remembered this from a kid, and I told my kids about it. You know, the 7th inning stretch in Toronto, different song, right? Everywhere else, it's Take Me Out to the Ball Game. They eventually played Take Me Out to the Ball Game, but it's the OK Blue Jays Let's Play Ball song, which I love. It's terrible, but it's perfect. OK, Blue Jays, let's play ball. All right. I'm going to take a break, fill up my water bottle, and then I'll come back and take you up until noon or so as we continue with Writer Radio. It's episode 289. 300 is approaching. 300 is a big deal. We made a big deal out of 200. 100 was a big deal. 200 was a big deal. 250, I just put a background behind me that was celebrating 250. 300, might have to do something for that. We'll see. Scott Wilson will join me tomorrow, not today. We usually have him on Mondays and Fridays, and this week is no exception. We're kind of, despite the fact that I've been ducking out, that I ducked out on Tuesday and Wednesday because of baseball things and kids being home, Monday and Friday shows are normal, and that means Scott Wilson at 11 o'clock or so for each of them. All right, time out. I'll be right back. It's Rider Radio. I have a bunch of stuff open on my screen. I started most of the time that the music was playing, I was reading about Barry Manilow. I saw that the Barry Manilow show that I didn't know existed has been postponed because he had something removed from his lung. He didn't. It was cancerous, but did not require radiation or chemotherapy, and he's working his way back. So the show that was scheduled for the arena downtown has been postponed, but they claim it's going to happen despite the fact that he's 82. And then I ended up in this whole Barry Manilow rabbit hole. First thing was, I wonder what a Barry Manilow set list looks like. Because I'm trying to think, he was omnipresent when I was a kid. I have at least one, maybe two 45s of Barry Manilow. What is this? Stream unavailable again. Cleared up in a few minutes last time, but it doesn't seem to like the music this week. Yeah, I guess not. Huh. All right, well, I'm not going to waste my time talking. I guess I'll just monitor the feed. I mean, I'm talking now in case it pops back on. Let's see. If I go to... I got flagged or something, man. I don't want to do it if I can't play the music, though. They're out to get me. All right, let's see. I go to that. View my channel. Live. Stream unavailable. Suspended for policy violations. Oh, that's stupid. Usually it gets fixed as soon as I stop breaking the law. Okay, I appear to be back on. I see myself. All right. I think it's working again. So, before I was so rudely interrupted by YouTube for policy violation, I was talking about Barry Manilow. Did anybody hear me talking about Barry Manilow? Barry Manilow was slated to play a show in Buffalo, and it has since been postponed, not just because he's 82, but because he has had doctor's orders not to perform, underwent successful surgery to remove a lobectomy, they call it, for stage 1 lung cancer, did not require chemotherapy or radiation. Promoters will announce when the rescheduled dates become available. He was supposed to be here April 22nd. And that got me to, basically the entire time that I was violating YouTube's policies by playing music, I was reading about Barry Manilow. Because it struck me that, I won't say I was raised on Barry Manilow, but like Copacabana was a big part of our lives, if you're my age, right? Like that song has been omnipresent. It was omnipresent. I don't know when it came out. If it was late 70s, early 80s. But it was, I mean, that song was everywhere. It was a big deal. Everybody loved it. Every kid loved it. Who wouldn't love it? But also, like, Barry Manilow was not laughed at in my house. Neil Diamond was not laughed at in my house. That stuff was playing, man. Kenny Rogers was playing. And I just started thinking, what would a Barry Manilow set list look like? And, like, do I want to go to that? Probably no, because he's 82. And I hate his face. His first face was fine. Back when he just looked like Joe Montana. That was fine. But he's had a lot of work done. He's got like a Meg Ryan thing going. We did a whole thing on this not that long ago when Scott Wilson was on about actresses playing themselves out of roles by having Stepford wife face That's not even right because the Stepford wives were younger, but you know what I mean. The plastic vibe, it's not great. Meg Ryan going from what she was to what she is terrible. And Barry Manilow, same thing. I never adored looking at Barry Manilow on screen in the way that, Meg Ryan was something. But he's freaky, and then there's like pictures of him in the hospital. So if you have the plastic surgery but then don't also do the makeup to go with the plastic surgery, you look even less like a human being. So pictures of him from the hospital. Anyway, this led to me looking up Barry Manilow set lists. And his most recent shows were Christmassy, so those didn't count. I want to see what he plays for real. So here's one from the Westgate in Vegas. Residency, I assume. Oh, it's my birthday. How about that? All right, so November 7th, 25. He opens with, I just want to see if by title I know the Barry Manilow songs. You could play along at home, too. Bought the greatest hits album when I was like 9. Yeah. Well, that might be my problem. If you were 9, I was 5. And, or 4. I was 4. Okay, this explains a lot. It's my uncle who says I bought the greatest hits album when I was like 9. He's a young uncle. Only 5 years older than me. But I used to hang out a lot and listen to music. You helped form my musical stuff back then. All right. Track 1. First song. It's a miracle. He opens and closes with It's a Miracle. Reprise at the end, but whatever. All right. It's a miracle, a true blue miracle to me. I'm Your Man. I'm immediately thinking of the Wham or George Michael. I'm Your Man. If you're gonna did it with me. If you're gonna do it right now. Do it with me. Somewhere in the night. I know that one. I just turned it into like Strange as Night. Somewhere in the night. I know it. Daybreak. It's daybreak. And you gotta daybreak. Let it shine all around the world. Give it Not all my music is cool. I just got a lot of stuff in my head, and I'm playing a little game because it's my show and I get to do this. So we're walking through a Barry Manilow set list and seeing how I do. Daybreak, got it. Looks like we made it. Yep. You know I can't smile without you. Can't. If you knew what I'm going through, I just can't smile. You're going to bust me for whistling Can't Smile Without You? You coming for me? Nick's saying the same exact thing. Be careful. All right. This one's for you. Sounds familiar, but I can't place it. Bandstand Boogie, I remember existing, but I'm just immediately thinking of like In the Mood by Glenn Miller, but it was something like that. I know it. Oh, Bandstand. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to play it. Song 9 of his show on November 7th at the Westgate in Vegas is Even Now. I know that one. It's pretty slow and mopey. I'm not going to try singing it. Don't know it. Don't know it enough to do that. Then the William Tell Overture, which I assume Guillaume Tell Overture is the same thing, right? That's William. It's like an Italian William. That is classical music that, of course, I can't place right now, but I think of Bugs Bunny and the apple on his head and Elmer Fudd, and I'm pretty sure that William Tell Overture is involved there. Not talking about Kill the Wabbit, not that. All right, up next, Dancing in the Aisles / Dancing in the Street / Let's Hang On. We'll just skip that because that's clearly just a mishmash of garbage. A Weekend in New England, which is a cover of a Randy Edelman song. Don't know. Could It Be Magic? Sounds vaguely familiar. Don't know. I Made It Through the Rain. I know. Mandy. Oh, Mandy. And you. It's Mandy / Could It Be Magic. So he's doing a little like fish thing here. A little in and out. Could It Be Magic into I Made It Through the Rain into Mandy, back to Could It Be Magic. It's like a Mike's Groove Fish situation, sort of. My favorite / least favorite thing that has ever had anything to do with Barry Manilow is song 16 on this show from November 7th, 2025. It's I Write the Songs. You know that Barry Manilow writes the songs that make the whole world sing, right? He writes songs of love and special things. He didn't write that song. Dude, every night since 1978 has been performing a song called I Write the Songs that he didn't write. And that's okay. But I feel lied to. When I found that out, I was not happy with Barry at all. Song 17, Copacabana, parentheses, at the Copa. You could have done it either way. You could have named it either one of those things. It could have been at the Copa, or it could have been Copacabana. It doesn't need to be both. We all know this. And then he closes with an It's a Miracle reprise, which I'm sure is amazing. Do you think he opens with It's a Miracle because he's 82? Like when he comes back, he just had surgery to remove stage 1 lung cancer. When he comes back, he'll probably be 82, 83, and a cancer survivor, and he's on stage singing. And that's probably the joke. It's a miracle. Look at how old I am. Look at my weird face. It's a miracle. True blue miracle. All right, that's the Barry Manilow segment. We'll close that. People also ask is one of my favorite things on Google. How many children does Barry Manilow have? I have a guess. None. He helped raise Kirsten Keefe, the daughter of his husband, Gary Keefe, whom he married in 2014. Yeah, that was kind of what I was guessing. Manilow has described himself as a father figure to Kirsten, became a grandfather when she adopted a daughter. So one kid, sort of, but not totally. What is Barry Manilow diagnosed with? December 25, diagnosed with a stage 1 cancerous tumor on his left lung, discovered via MRI following a prolonged respiratory illness. Underwent surgery in December to remove it. Who's his husband now? Was Barry Manilow a heavy smoker? That's a good question. He did smoke cigarettes heavily for decades, up to 3 packs a day, starting at age 9. What? Stop it. Why is my phone... Oh, I mentioned the website that I'm looking at, and it thought that I said, okay, that website, and then the phone just started answering me. So now my phone is telling me about Barry Manilow's family life also. All right, so he smoked a lot starting at age 9. He quit and switched to vaping. Barry Manilow vapes. That's weird. He was recently diagnosed with lung cancer, which he attributed to his past smoking, and has since encouraged others to get screened. What ethnicity is Barry Manilow? I don't know. Alien? He's of mixed Jewish and Irish heritage. Raised by his Jewish mother and grandparents in Brooklyn. His maternal roots are Russian and Jewish. You know what his real name is? It's not Manilow, I'll tell you that. Oh, no, his mom is a Manilow. But he was born Barry Allen Pincus. Barry Pincus. It's a miracle. A true blue miracle. Where does Barry Manilow currently live? Palm Springs, California. Does Barry Manilow get royalties from State Farm? He came up with the melody for Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm is There, and got paid $500 without any additional residuals. You get residuals if you're singing or talking on the commercial, but as a composer, you get a flat fee. $500. What song made Barry Manilow famous? Mandy, 1974. Is Barry Manilow married to a male? Yeah. Is Barry Manilow a doctor? People ask that. He's presented an honorary Doctor of Music Education from somewhere. I don't know where. Vandercook College of Music. And then the next question is Jennifer Aniston a heavy smoker? On the people also ask about Barry Manilow. So she's not currently, but was a self-described chain smoker for many years until she quit for good in 2007. She kicked the long-term habit through yoga, wellness routines, and intense personal willpower, having previously tried e-cigarettes and nicotine lozenges. I don't know what that has to do with Barry Manilow. Does he have a private jet? I'm going to go with yes. He has utilized private jets, with accounts mentioning him traveling on a private jet or chartered aircraft, sometimes bringing his dogs along. What song does Billy Joel refuse to play? Well, that has nothing to do with Barry Manilow. I hope it's Copacabana. Just the Way You Are. For a long time, he refused to play Just the Way You Are because he considered it a gloppy ballad, disliked its sentimentality, felt it was too personal. This is not what I'm trying to do. I was just trying to read about Barry Manilow. I mentioned I was at the Jays game yesterday, and we were way up in the sky. I was looking for Geddy Lee. You aware that Geddy Lee, like 80% of the time that I've been to Jays games, I've seen Geddy Lee sitting behind home plate. But my angle sort of didn't allow for me to get a good look. But they did play Tom Sawyer at one point while we were in there. And they also played Blinding Lights by The Weeknd, which prompted me to say, hey, I wonder if The Weeknd is Toronto's Goo Goo Dolls. They must be so proud of him. He's such a good singer. Blinding Lights is great. Then I wondered maybe Geddy Lee wasn't there because Rush is going to tour again, but they're not touring. It doesn't start until much later this year. So he might have been there, and I just missed him. Usually you can find him in a hat. Laying low, but he's got his little Geddy Lee glasses. Only he and John Lennon have ever owned. And you know it's not John Lennon. What else? Okay, I have too much Manilow open. Oh, I like this one. Taxes. Do you like them? Because I don't. I'm not a big fan of paying taxes. However, if there is one way to push taxes through, it's this way. Town of Amherst to consider implementing new bed tax. Now, my first fear is, oh no, 5 of us live here. I live in Amherst. We have a lot of beds. That could be a problem. But no, that's not what it means. It's like a hotel situation. A resolution's on the agenda for the April 13th board meeting that would call on New York to allow 2.5% tax in hotels. Town officials are pointing to the Chipotle USA National Hockey Championship and Aunt Rosie's International Fast Pitch Tournament, as well as events hosted by the University at Buffalo, leading to thousands of visitors. The 2.5% bed tax is a strategic investment in the future of Amherst, according to Supervisor Sean Lavin. By reinvesting these funds into youth and recreation capital improvement projects, we can maintain and enhance the quality of our facilities. This ensures that Amherst remains a premier destination for tournaments and events, while also delivering lasting benefits to our residents and local economy. No one gets mad if you're taxing people who don't live here. It's the most beautiful scheme to increase revenue. Tax the people that aren't staying. 2.5%, they won't even notice. And think about it. You've paid these things. You go out of town, it's like, hotel tax? What? Go argue with it. Who are you going to argue with? What are you going to do? Get on the agenda for the board meeting a year ago when they put the thing in? There's nothing you can do about it. It's a perfect crime. They also point to both Buffalo and Cheektowaga recently implementing bed taxes. Council member Jack Kavanaugh says, investing in the world-class facilities that bring people to Amherst, especially youth sports, arts, and cultural attractions, is essential to keeping our community vibrant and competitive. This modest bed tax helps us reinvest in the experiences that bring people to visit Amherst and will benefit residents year-round. It's a no-brainer. Going to take a little bit from the people who are trapped here, and then they're going to leave, and even if they're mad, who cares? Their kids in a tournament, they're coming back anyway. Smart, Amherst. Good job on that. What else do I have open here? There's a lot of. All right, let's see I have the Google News thing that I usually read. Like I said, I've been like barely here the last couple days, just running around. So then I got caught up on the Manilow of it all and skipped the rest. I'm going to entertainment because that's what's fun for me. I like entertainment. Computer's slow. It's okay. movies by cinema heavyweights dominate Cannes Film Festival lineup. I'm not going to get into that. Superhero satire The Boys reaches its conclusion with 5th season. Oh, I have a question. I have not found anyone else, not a single person, who has answered yes to this. Is anyone watching DTF St. Louis on HBO or Max or whatever? They're like 6 episodes in. It's Jason Bateman and Linda Cardellini and the David Harbour, the guy that's in Stranger Things, who I've never watched Stranger Things. I've walked past it. The kids watch it or have watched it. So I'm familiar with this guy, but he always kind of freaked me out. But he's really good in this. But it's this weird, creepy, interesting, dark thing. And I want to talk about it with anybody. I'm not going to do it on the show because it's too niche, I think. Like, based on me talking to the kind of people who tend to watch the same kinds of things as me. I mean, are you watching this? And everybody's like, no. No one's watching it. I'm looking forward to each new episode. First show I've had like that in a long time, where it's like, it's not already done, and then I just go through it at my own pace. So it's a little frustrating having to wait for a new episode. But they come out on their Sundays at 9, which is like still the Sopranos slot to me. Like, they mean it. When they put something in that time slot, they mean it. But nobody's doing it. I'm not even saying you have to. But immediately, like a minute into the first episode, first of all, Bateman's in it, so I'll try it. Because I've never not liked him. Immediately, though, it was obvious that this was written or produced or directed or something by the same person or people that did Patriot, which was on Prime, which is maybe my favorite short. It was a 2-season run. But it's super weird and quirky and great. And it was obvious that this show is related to that show. Whole different direction, whole different thing going on, but it was obvious. And so I've been in for a month and a half, and I have yet to find a person to talk about it with me. Which stinks. Okay. Sports. Let's see what it says in sports. The Masters underway. The draft is coming. We're going to have to start thinking about the draft a little bit. Which I think means I should just start talking to Chris Trapasso on a regular basis. Saw him. I ran into Chris last week. So he's been doing stuff on GR as I have. And he's coming back like I am. And so is Tim Graham. But in what capacity? I don't know. And I've worked with Tim and I've worked with Owen Parker in the 3 weeks that I've done in the last month and a half or whatever. But Chris has been like staggered separately from me. But I've known Chris forever. And I ran into him we were at the new Dick's. I have to resist. I always want to call it House of Dick's. It's Dick's House of Sport. Anyway, it's on Bailey in Amherst, and it's cool. It's this massive sporting goods store that also has play areas and golf simulators and rock climbing and baseball simulator and all kinds of cool stuff. And this outdoor facility that right now is for soccer and basketball and a track, but in the winter is going to become an ice rink with lights. It's all in a cage. It looks like if you're driving past the Top Golf. If I've already said this on the air, I apologize. I've lost track of what I've said on the radio, what I've said on here, what I've just said to my friends. I don't know. It's all running together. But I ran into Chris there. He was there with his daughter was doing the rock climbing thing, and my kids were, we were buying a baseball bat because we had been there the day before. Whatever. I ran into Chris. And then Tuesday nights I played trivia, and my guys weren't around, so it was going to be just me and Nate. I was like, I need an adult there. Got in touch with Chris, so I hung out with Chris Tuesday night. And we absolutely need to, whether it's on GR or here, start having conversations about the NFL draft. That's happening. It's April. It's time. I have not studied. I have not planned. I need my man Chris. So we'll do that. He's cool. Mark Calcavecchia ejection from Masters. Ooh, let's see what he did. Cell phone related. How about that? Okay, let's see what happened with Mark Calcavecchia. This is fun. They really try to control the environment, maybe more than anywhere else at Augusta National. He was allegedly kicked out of the Masters. This was published at 7 o'clock this morning. Okay. Mark Calcavecchia allegedly kicked out of Masters after breaking strict Augusta National phone policy. Report. Calcavecchia said he has nothing negative to say about Augusta National when asked about the incident. See, yeah, they make you do that. They make you not ever say anything negative. The Masters no phone policy does not discriminate, even if you are a former major golf champion. Mark Calcavecchia, winner of the 1989 Open Championship, was allegedly removed by Augusta National Golf Club security for using his phone this week at the Masters. Golf Week spoke to Calcavecchia, who didn't deny taking his phone out on the grounds, which is automatic dismissal. We've got nothing to say about Augusta National Golf Club and the Masters, so I think we should literally hang up right now, he said, before I'm assassinated for saying something bad about Augusta National. That was a sneeze, my bad. You didn't hear it, though. You saw it. You didn't hear it. So that was quick. All right, I've got nothing to say, so I think we should hang up. While Calcavecchia, 65, isn't a previous Masters winner, he did play in the event 18 times between 87 and 08. He finished in second place in 88. Winners of the other three majors, like Calcavecchia, had to get a 5-year exempt invitation to play in the Masters, and then they become honorary invitees for life. But the rules are the rules, especially at Augusta National. No one is above the law on the premises, and the Masters official website says so when it comes to cell phones. The use of any device for phone calls, emails, text messaging, or to record and or transmit voice, video, or data is strictly prohibited. Augusta National does provide phone service on the grounds, designated phone banks where AT&T provides service as a champion partner with the Masters are found on the course to make phone calls if needed. Any other technological form of communication is strictly forbidden, and Calcavecchia is paying the price. So if you were told you couldn't bring your phone anywhere, you're going to the Masters. And they're like, we've got phones you can use, so you don't need your phone. How many people could you call? How many numbers do you know? I know my wife's number. I do not know my son's number. I know my parents' home number. I do not know their cell numbers. I know my own number. I know a couple pizzeria numbers. I could order a pizza from West Seneca if I was in Augusta, Georgia. Not that that would do me any good. I could call my wife and my parents' house and my grandma, who's been dead for 12 years. I remember her number too. Other than that, people I talk to every day, I have no idea. I can't name a digit. Oh, I might know Scott. I might know Scott Wilson. I could get to Scott's number. I'd have to guess a couple times, but I almost. And that might be it. So thanks for nothing, Augusta, if you're providing that. If I could use my phone to look up a number, then use your phone to call that number, that would be helpful to me. But otherwise, I mean, what, you got payphones? That's your solution? I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm not saying I don't kind of love it. Any concert I've been to where they lock the phone in the bag, it's a relief. My wife's phone wasn't working in the Dome last night or yesterday. We're in Toronto. It was almost a relief for her. She's like, well, okay. I won't talk to anybody. We get back. Like, I don't know if she's on a different plan than I am. Mine just automatically flipped me to Canada and it was fine. And my son has the same thing, so he was fine. But hers just didn't work. She was up there. Didn't know it wasn't going to work and then just stopped. And it's frustrating a little bit, but then it's kind of a relief. And any time I've been at a concert You don't feel like you have to take pictures, and you don't feel like you have to try to get a video, and you don't have to mostly look at other people doing it. Because I tend to try to take a picture, like document that I was there and then put it away. I'm not a watch a concert through a phone guy, even if it's my favorite song. Like, I don't need it. First of all, somebody else is doing it, and it'll be on YouTube from a better spot with a better device or something. Or I just will live in the moment and watch the thing that I'm watching. So I get Augusta going for this. It makes sense. But saying we've got phones over here you can use doesn't really do anything at all for me. Aside from I could call my wife, I could order a pizza, I could call my parents' house, and my grandma, who's not around. That's it. All right, that's the Calcavecchia story. Done with that. More Manilow. I've got so many Manilows open. Too many Manilows. So many Manilows. Gaddy Lee, Go Train. I think that's it. I think I'm done. Tomorrow will be cool. We'll have Scott Wilson live at approximately 11 o'clock. And, I don't know. We'll be good. Was today's show lame? I feel like it lacked energy. I mean, I feel good. I didn't hate it. My new lights work great, I think. Right? Doesn't the show look a little better? I took a picture. So we're way up top. We're not way up. We're in the 500 level. I mean, that immediately sounds pretty high. We're in like the 18th row, like halfway up in the top level. But I got a cool shot of the inside of Rogers Center that I still keep calling Sky Dome, but you know what I'm talking about. That I was going to put as the background today, and then I went to email it to myself, and it didn't land there. But I thought that would look cool. Cool, like, baseball background. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe it'll get there. Maybe it's arrived by now. It just got caught up in Gmail hell, trying to send it from the phone to the computer. So maybe it'll look super cool tomorrow. But I like how the lights are going. Audio worked fine. We did get shut down briefly by YouTube. But then they lightened up when I stopped playing the music. Got to figure that aspect of it out. Because I like the music as a filler. But lately, it's just like, now you can't do that. So, I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right, I'm done. Thank you for watching, listening, messaging, sharing, liking, subscribing, all the stuff you guys do. It is greatly appreciated. I'll be back with episode 290. Is that right? 290? Yeah. This is 289? Yeah, 290 tomorrow. Thank you. Bye.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
Will you get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?